Thinking that there's nothing to do for your gap year is no reason not to take one. That's why I'm going to do a 10-part series. That's right, 10 parts with 100 ideas for your gap year. So strap in. We're going to go through different categories of ideas. And these are just things that I brainstormed that my past students have done or programs and opportunities that I personally know about as a professional gap year advisor. Okay, so the theme of this part one of 100 ideas that you can do for your gap year is skill building. These are skills that you might be able to build for your own hobby or for career development. So let's get started. First up, and this is pretty general, but language courses. If there's a language that perhaps you studied in high school that you actually want to use in real life, go to where that language is spoken, take a language course, and have some fun with it. Develop it into a higher level. You may even be able to test out of your language requirement in college if you get to a high enough level during your gap time. Perhaps you are outdoorsy and you want to help others appreciate and enjoy the outdoors. There are all sorts of certifications that you can gain on your gap year that will qualify you to teach different outdoor activities. So, for example, if you are interested in whitewater rafting, you can get a Swiftwater certification or a lifeguarding certification. If you want to lead trips in the backcountry, you can get all sorts of certs to showcase your leadership skills or your risk management skills, so that then you can get jobs at summer camps or with outdoor education organizations. Learn how to surf. This is just one that a lot of my students want to do, but particularly go learn how to surf in a really cool place. One of my personal favorites is Sri Lanka because it is such an amazing country. It's on my personal bucket list, but I've had loads of students go there and take surf courses. You can also go to places like Bali, Peru, Costa Rica. There are even great surf breaks in Europe, like off the coast of Ireland and in northern Africa in Morocco, or further south in South Africa or Mozambique. So get out there and learn how to surf. Learn or deepen your skill set around an instrument. Reading music, playing music is such a lifelong skill. It's something that I really wish I had used more of my time in my young life to expose myself to. But if you have been dabbling in an instrument, or maybe you've been playing seriously, um, take some time to really deepen that you can do that through traveling. Like, you can go take a flamenco guitar lesson in, or a series of lessons in Spain, for example. But you can also go to a place that is inspiring to you musically. So I've had lots of students go to Ireland because they have such a vibrant traditional music scene. You can go and show up in a pub and play along with other musicians. It's so amazing. Or, like, I've had students I had a student a couple years ago who was a bass guitarist. He wanted to get better at it. So he just took classes locally while he was working. He traveled later in his gap year, but you don't have to go far away to do that skill set, but consider that time well spent. Learn how to be handy. You can do this in like very unique ways. Like, you can take a traditional Japanese carpentry course in Kyoto, or you can lend a hand on a project like through Habitat for Humanity and learn carpentry skills. So whether you do this through like a formalized course or through do a mentorship kind of approach where you are shadowing somebody who has that skill set and learning it, getting life skills around building, home maintenance, that kind of stuff, that will serve you very well into adulthood, trust me. Learn how to scuba dive or try scuba diving. But a lot of my students will get their PADI open water or PADI certification on their gap year. That is, PADI is kind of the overarching organization that certifies people to dive. So you would start by diving with, professionals that kind of guide you through the process. Those are called fun dives. But if you want to be able to dive alone, you have to get a specialized certification. So these courses usually take about 5 days. If you want advanced courses, they take longer. But again, this is a time that you have to do that kind of thing. You can do it close to home in a swimming pool or in a lake or in a smaller body of water, or you can go to Thailand or Mexico or any number of places that have oceans and do it someplace where you can also see some pretty amazing underwater wildlife. Learn how to cook. Just learn how to cook. You'll need it. If you want to keep living as a human, you need to learn how to cook. But you can also take a formalized cooking course sometime on your gap year. These can range anywhere from a couple days, where they really focus on essential cooking skills like knife skills, measuring, the real basics. Or you can go all the way up to taking like a 3-month long or 6-month long, more professionalized cooking course that sets people up for working in kitchens or working in more commercial settings. So whether you're at the amateur level and just want to learn how to cook for yourself, cooking for life, or maybe you want to explore a potential career in the culinary arts, a cooking course on your gap year is such a great way to do that. And again, you can do that here in the States, you can do it locally, or you can do it in a lot of cool places abroad. This is similar to outdoor certifications, but slightly more specific. I highly recommend that everybody who likes to travel or spend time in the outdoors do a wilderness medicine course at some point during their gap year. This is another type of certification that has many levels. The first, like most basic level, is wilderness first aid. This is usually a 2-day course where you learn how to uh, assess and respond to an emergency in the backcountry. And the backcountry is considered anywhere where emergency medicine, like an ambulance team, for example, is more than a half hour away. So if you are hiking someplace, someone breaks their leg, and you're in the trail, you need to know how to respond to that and help get that person to safety so that they can get picked up by an emergency response team. The next level up is Wilderness First Responder, and that's a week-long course that goes even deeper into how to respond to different injuries in resource low settings. And then going above that is Wilderness EMT, which actually certifies you as an EMT, but it also gives you special skills that you can use in backcountry situations. So for that, you can go on to being like a backcountry ranger, or all sorts of other doors open up for you as far as backcountry jobs if you have a wilderness EMT certification. So if you are even thinking about going into medicine and you like the outdoors, those courses can really give you a good insight into how to assess patients, gives you all sorts of like actual scenarios that you get to act out with your cohort of people. And there are wilderness medicine schools all over the US that do these kinds of courses at these different levels. Make art, be creative. There are so many ways to get in touch with your creative side in a course form on your gap year. So whether that's, learning how to paint in Florence, Italy, or, taking a course down the street from your hometown in a, community arts center, take an art course, because again, these are skills that you will utilize throughout your life, and a lot of times they're associated with stress relief and for time management, and again, just that kind of natural inclination that we all have for that kind of expression. So think about the kind of art that you might want to pursue on your gap year, and investigate if there is a short or long form opportunity that might help you explore that interest. Lastly, if you think someday that you might own a home, or like want to get into agriculture, or just understanding kind of the world around us in the natural form, a permaculture design course is such a cool concept, and it's really neat if you ever envision yourself homesteading someday. So basically, this will allow you to understand the different cycles of sustainable agriculture and how to implement them in different ecological settings. So in a tropical environment versus a more cold 4 seasons environment, that kind of thing. So again, these permaculture design courses are probably local to you, but you can also take them in places like Costa Rica, which has a really vibrant sustainable agriculture scene. And they usually run courses that last about a month, several times a year, at these sustainable farms or retreat centers. So it's an opportunity to go travel as well as gain a skill and marketable certification. All right, if you're inspired by these ideas, give me a follow and stay tuned, because we're going to have a bunch more of these videos coming at you this week. See you soon.